printed.
Okay, I had to start the recording. I always forget to start the recording.
All right, can you blow that up in front of us?
Which do you need blown up now?
The minutes.
Yes, I can do that.
All right, welcome everyone that's on. As we get going, we'll continue to find out who's there. Here's last week's minutes. Do we have a quorum, Sherry?
Today, I believe so. You got Alan, Mark, yourself, Mike.
We got Mike?
Yeah, Mike's in here.
I'm yeah.
How you doing, Mike?
Good.
All right, so read the minutes. Someone make a motion to accept last month's minutes.
I will.
Second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, done.
One less
Mark, you
document.
got anything from the secretary? If you do, I'd be amazed. Junior boys, Mike, anything that we don't know of to report?
No, nothing.
All right. How about you, Alan? Senior boys, I know the one piece of information we all know now is that
Right.
there were two girls' teams in the commission cup.
Unreal.
That's not the only thing.
Unreal.
That ain't the Lone Ranger either. well, Mike's got one where they're three teams, and two of them are scheduled to play like 1,000 miles away, and it's Temple Terrace and his club. You could walk to the game. So they're going to both drive like 250 miles each, stay over in a hotel to play each other when there's three teams in the
Hey, Paul, can we find out who Ortiz is?
Who?
Or ORTIES 512.
Ortiz.
What's the
Ortiz.
first name?
That's all I have. Ortiz 512. Who are you?
Oh.
Andy Ortiz from North Lakeland, youth soccer.
There you go.
Which club? I'm sorry, which club?
North Lakeland.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good. Eddie, please stay for the. Is it Eddie?
Andy.
Andy?
Yes.
Yeah, please stay for the executive session. We just want to get to you for a second.
As well as Steve and Melissa too.
Yeah. Can you hear me, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can't
How's
see.
everything? How's your mother-in-law?
We can't see.
We're actually, I don't have the camera on. We are, she just went into ICU to be prepped for tomorrow.
Okay.
She's going into open heart surgery tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock. So,
Ouch.
she had a heart attack last weekend. And, but you know, she was okay, survived it. So now she's going to have a bypass tomorrow. So that's where we stand.
Good luck. We'll keep a good track for that.
Yeah, appreciate it.
What hospital?
She is at Trinity Hospital in Newport Richey.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. So we know we have a few glitches in the that we want to report out. How about you, Steve? You got anything to report? VP girls? Anything,
No, nothing.
All right.
Nothing.
Let's
At
keep
this
moving.
point.
The president's report. Let's get past this part. I think the executive session is go over. We're still working on a couple of things from last week. We're still, strategically looking around, trying to figure out what's going to happen this year as far as play, and we have a better idea now than we did a month ago. I don't know. We'll have a discussion in the executive session about, putting teams together. Some people think that league is strong enough to do it. Others don't. So we'll go over that in executive session. That's it. That's all I've got for President's report. We're at the end of the season. FYS is rolling out this new format, and they're currently, not everything is well thought out. It's going to happen. We had some 2 or 3 or 4 really silly things happen that shouldn't, but That's not USA's problem, or that's not our business either, but it is our members. No judge grant applications due by 3/31. The only thing, I know you asked me, Sherry, about changing the, about tweaking that application some. I'm not going to bother at this point. All I said is that I think when we get it, we need to be sure we have the things that are important to us in the proper order. And we know we're interested in these children's, or these players, I'm sorry. These players' academic performance, but this is not an academic scholarship. So whereas we would really put the service to soccer up there, beyond that, naturally the kids, the players have to, have been accepted at a school to get a college scholarship to get the money. But that was the only thing I would change or maybe do something with, and I just haven't had time to do that. But we know when we get them, we'll have all that information. Maybe we make them less cumbersome. Maybe you guys, somebody could take a look at that and make it easier for a kid to fill it out, so they don't have to go and find 25 people in their school to get stuff to send to us, and it'll make it more easier to send it. Although we had 15 of these applications years ago, so obviously the kids found it possible. The Brookhouse Scholarship, Mike, how's that going? I know it's a little light.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, we got about, in the two age groups, we probably got 15 in each age group. We've had very few. I mean, when based on the number of clubs that we contacted, we've only had a response from 4 clubs recommending players to come to it.
Did you get it? Mike? Did you get anything from West Pasco from Novi?
Yeah, Novi, so West
Okay.
Pasco, Dunedin, Lee County, Plant City, FC Tampa Rangers. That's it.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. He was inquiring with me about it, so I told him to talk to you or
Yeah.
get in touch with
Mike,
you.
I'll check with you this week, but I did talk to someone at the Fields whose son would be a candidate for that in the younger league. He said, well, he'd mention it to Steve. I don't think that's what he needs to do. I think he needs to actually fill something out himself. I think some of these guys are a little confused about that. Have you sent that email blast out, Mike?
Yeah, I've sent it out. Look, I think if the coaches did not recognize the opportunity for the kids, it didn't go anywhere.
Okay. All right. Well, that's something, again, we've got to,
But we'll get 20 each evening, so it'll be fine.
Yeah, if you got 20 kids that could play, it'd be great. That's the point.
Yeah.
You're missing
Correct.
some kids are out there that will be able to play, and if we can, hopefully we'll be able to hold these guys to that for a little bit. Maybe not. We'll see. All right. USA Liverpool is any new business? Anybody?
Paul?
Yes.
First of all, Mike Calloway, who are you with? Which club? Mike Calloway? Does anybody know Mike? Seems to be walking around. Okay. Anyhow, Paul.
Yes.
I'm still waiting on the on the financials on the boys' side, but I got some real good news on the girls' side in that they can put together a couple training sessions with the Everton and Liverpool women's professional team in the preseason going in if we go in August instead of Easter.
August is tough because schools are going back August 9th.
Yeah, they're going back real early because we're getting
Yeah, I
out
know.
real early.
I know.
Okay.
I know. And the preseason over there is the end of July, first week of August.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I've got the
Good.
time. I got the time slots. I've got pretty much everything nailed down. I'm still waiting on the final cost factor on accommodations. But the fact that the girls, the boys would get a professional coach, not a academy coach. Okay, it would be the either the reserve squad or the assistant coach at Liverpool doing the training sessions, and amongst themselves. The girls, however, would get a chance to mix in with the actual professional players from each squad.
Oh, okay. What age groups are we talking?
Well, if that's available, we're probably talking 16 and up for the girls,
Okay.
and 14, starting at 14 with the boys. So,
Okay.
like I said, once I know the financials, I'll get squared the boys within the next week. And like I said, the opportunity for the girls though is outstanding when he brought this to my attention.
And where would they consider doing it? Where would they be doing it?
In Liverpool, yeah, in Liverpool.
Okay. How many would we be sending?
If we could get a full squad, it'd be nice. The first time out, if we can get 18, I have, and it's a good squad of 18. Let's say 16 or 17-year-olds. I'll bet you some of our better girls are on par with some of the girls they got on those teams.
Yeah, maybe.
No doubt. No doubt there. We would get, again, it's a 9/10 day deal. We'd probably get 3 games in for the boys and 6 training sessions during that time. So, because it's a good opportunity for them. I'll have the financials for the boys nailed down in a week, and the girls.
So what cost would it be for the girls? I mean,
Well, the girls would be the same as the boys.
But what I'm saying, for each individual girl, you say we have the money. What do we?
$2,100.
That would be their cost would be, or we're saying
We are looking at picking up the training session and the game fees.
okay. So leftover would be how much?
Leftover
For them?
airfare, accommodations, bus transportation for the week, for the 10 days, which comes out to, the airfare is astronomical right now,
Well, yeah.
but we're still looking at something in the vicinity of $2,200 per player.
That they would have to come up
Yes.
with.
Yes.
Okay.
Does that include the airfare?
Yes.
Yeah, I would hope so. Oh God, I would
Yes.
hope so.
That's airfare, accommodations, 3 breakfast and dinner every day. They take that at the residence.
Right.
And
Greg, what's the age group on the girls?
16 and
I
up.
would probably like to see 16 and 17
Okay.
because 13s and 14s, they could play. But can they play? I don't think they could play with 21 and 22-year-old women. But I'm sure our 16s and 17s would handle it with no issue.
What about the 18s and the 19s if they have money to go?
If they have money to go, they're
Oh,
more than
absolutely.
welcome. They're
Well,
more
that's
than
what we're
welcome.
saying. 16 and up. 16 and up.
16 and
Yeah,
up.
I would say like a high school division.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like
Well,
that.
it's going to be kind of high school. Yeah, it is going to be kind of a high school division. It'll only be anybody from.
So
Yeah,
why
it's
are
high
you going
school.
younger in the boys? Why not offer the high school for the boys as well? Because you probably get more.
Because there's a better opportunity to play schoolboys teams there at that time of the year
Yeah.
because school's out. The older ones, good luck.
Okay, so
They're
this would be
already,
prior.
already at the university.
So this would be prior to school. You're saying we'd be back in time for school.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Real quick, Kathleen Shelton, which club are you with, please?
Chargers.
Chargers. Thank you. Did anybody else not announce? Want to make sure that we got everybody here for whatever. Who's that?
Did you get Mike
Mike who?
Calloway?
No, Mike Calloway.
Send them
I have.
okay.
Let me.
Don't worry about it. We'll find him.
All right, I'll send them another one.
All right, let's just go. Last thing is the finances that before we go into the executive session. Sherry, are you there? Sherry? Greg, am I on?
Yes, you are.
I can hear you.
I'm sorry, I was muted. I'm here.
Okay. Sherry, can you take a look at this with me? The current budget. I see it. This is as 217 or 212. Is that correct? As of a week ago, or to the 12th one, or that one?
I ran that today, actually, so that would
Okay.
be as of today.
All right, great.
Greg, could you pull that up on your screen?
Yeah, I've got it here in front of me, but here's the questions I have.
Did you send an email with it, or do you want me?
It's posted on the website
Yeah,
under
it's on the website.
All right, hold on. I'll go. Hold on. I just have to.
Total revenue, we're showing 137. That's a pretty hard number, right? That's not an estimate, that's an actual. The
Correct.
expenses out at this point are about 87. So am I correct in assuming there's still about 50,000 from this year's budget or this year's budget or whatever it is left? Am I correct in assuming that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
So that's where that's good. We're in remarkable shape, actually. That's good. Because we're past most of our large expenses. Greg, have you still got some referee fee, stuff like that that's got to
I've got it. I think I've got 2 referees to play on forfeits.
so it's nothing.
There's
Jerry,
not very.
can you see anything, is there anything that you can think coming that's really going to take a chunk out of that? Just for everybody's edification, one thing you're going to notice, I think, and I spoke to Kai about this week. Every time we come up with another idea to do something, we really don't have the volunteer base to get it done, to actually finish it. So it's going to go back to either Greg or Sherry to do, which means we're going to pay them to do it. And so at the end of this thing, that budget, although we haven't exceeded it yet, that 65,000 may not be, that might not hold us in the pen. We might not stay inside the fence because we've gone outside for about 3 or 4 of these different things at this point. And
Can everybody see this?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
so it's just so you know, it's something that we may see a little bit of an increase in that. We haven't yet. I don't know if we will, but we're certainly going to eat up more time with some of these things. The referees, the one thing I can think of, especially Greg, starting to set those meetings up. It's fallen to Greg really to do it, and that's going to take some time, some administrative time that we really don't figure on. Normally, we're figuring that Jerry and Greg are going to control the play and keep everything. All these type of outreach programs we're doing, which are important. We've got to get it done in a time frame to make some sense. And at this point, we can't do it in that time frame unless we use the administrative people, and we're going to do that. So just so everybody knows, I don't know what that's going to mean as far as budget, but I don't think it's going to be an enormous increase, but it may be something. But that's just so we cover that right now so everyone's aware of it. Anything else from anybody? I'm going to adjourn this meeting if nobody has any questions.
One of the questions, I think, while we're talking financials, is that we had no idea at the beginning of the year that FYSA was going to jack up the price for State Cup.
No, that doesn't affect us, though.
What do you mean it doesn't affect us? Well, if we have to pay,
We're not paying that.
it does. If we have to pay out each winner, every winner in the Premier Division,
I'm sorry, you're right.
it does affect us, and it affects us to the point where the whole idea behind giving the money.
That's a potential large expense then, or larger expense that we
That's
don't.
what I was going to say.
It's a very large expense, and the reason that I think that this was done was it was done to offset the cost of medals and trophies, and now it's got.
We're trying to make something more meaningful for
Right. But now we're talking. We could be talking close to $15,000,
yeah.
which is a far cry from what it was last year.
Yep.
So, I think that's something
We
that.
can reassess that if we want to pay half of it or something.
Yes. Okay, just so we're aware of that.
All right. Yeah, good point, Craig, because I wasn't even thinking about that extra. It'll be double, actually, won't it?
Yes.
Now we'll see who comes up with the, you know, where it is and what tournament they're going to go in. Yeah, very good point, though. All right.
Okay. We're good with the financials. I can close this up.
Anybody have any questions on the financials as far as specifics for Greg or Sherry? Well, we got it.
No, we're good. I'm good.
All right. Cool.
And believe it or not, Paul,
Yes.
we are reconciled all the way down. We're even Steven.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, that's really where you want to be in this thing, because we need to be, to me, we've got to be triply transparent, because I don't see anybody else is in this thing. And I think
Right.
our book's got to be as clean as a whistle as far as everybody's transparency.
Yeah.
I know the other entities in this sport, that's not the case. And, we're hopefully setting an example for people that this is actually how it's supposed to be done, since you're handling other people's money and the other people and members.
I sat with the accountant for about 2 hours the other day.
All right. Good. That's great, though. That's perfect. Perfect. I appreciate that.
And we're down even.
But, well, you want to have we got a good feel right now I forgot about that expense, but still it shouldn't take us below what we've taken in this year. We do have
No. Well, if we pay the full amount, we're going to be close.
Yeah, well, it's all right. That's what we're taking the money in for. If we're not, it was in the past we bought T-shirts which stayed in somebody's garage and trophies for everybody that half the people didn't pick up. So I think this is a good incentive for people to play.
Yeah. Without a doubt. I just thought, they're paying $275 to play, and they're going to get $1,000 back. What? Excuse me? That just didn't make sense, but that's okay.
Who's paying $275 to play?
The teams, their entry fee is $275, and if they win, they get over $1,000 back.
Yeah, but Greg, that is 10 teams in the league paying $275, and somebody's getting $1,000. So you.
Not somebody, quite a few teams, Mike. There's a lot of.
I know that, but it's one team out of a group. I mean, we'll look at the numbers, but we are trying to make something of a value to play in the league, and we have to understand,
Well, that's what I said. We may have to take a look at that, though. That's a board decision, not mine. I'm just bringing it up.
Oh, good. Well, it's it's all our money, though. It's everybody's money, so it's
Right.
But no, I think it's Mike's point is well taken. Though this is in lieu of all the other things we've done. Nobody else does this. Just like the Joan Jett, nobody else does that. No other league pays for entry fees for winning the league. There's no value to it at all. There's no other league that I know of now that does that. We do it, and we don't. And I know I'm talking to Kai about this week, and somehow we just don't seem to be able to get that out there and get universal credit for it. Not that we have to, but it's one thing we do that no one does, and it is a value. It's a point for being in the league and getting your games in and playing well. I don't think it's part of the budget, Greg. So we should be. I think we'll be all right overall. Also, and I don't think we're going to be negative. If it is, it's going to be an insignificant amount. All right, so we're past that. Let's get to the for the good of the game. We talked about the USA Liverpool. Anybody, please make a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion.
Oh, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 We're going to start the executive committee meeting straight ahead here. If you get the minutes up, Greg, so we can get this all in.
Right here.
All right. Someone
Now, wait a minute. That's the.
motion to accept last month's minutes, please. No, the minutes, Greg.
Yeah. I just got rid of them.
Cool.
I just got rid of them. Let me hold on. There we go.
All right.
That's executive committee stuff right there.
Hey, Paul, this is Brian. I'm on. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can, Brian.
All right.
Thank you, Brian.
Hey,
Thank you.
well, we'll get to it when we get to this thing, Brian. Is it There's a fellow from North Lakeland still with us.
Andy.
Andy. Is it
Yes.
ENDI?
No, ENDY.
Okay. All right. Yeah, hang on one second because we do want to discuss something with you. Someone want to make a motion to accept last month's minutes? We got a motion to accept last month's minutes from somebody?
Yeah, I can make a motion. Got it.
Somebody?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We've got some pretty thick stuff here from last month.
I or oi.
All right, let's get through this. Protest and appeals. Why don't we get, while Andy's on, why don't we get to that? Andy, we've had some issues with the club out there, and we're struggling to figure out who to talk to. Are you the president, or are you the AOR? Who are you in the club, if I may ask?
I am the director of coaching for the Lakeland.
Okay, that's good. That's somebody.
Yeah.
Andy, we've had some, and stop me if someone else has a better plan for this. But while we got him on here, we've had now 3 different events, all with North Lakeland involved. Now, we understand in some of these things, Andy, that there are 2 sides to all these stories, and invariably that's a fact. Once we get 2 or 3 of them, however, it's starting to become a pattern. We had an issue out at Charlotte with parents' behavior. We've had a coach go off on a referee from your club, and then we had another dust up out there, another issue. And I don't know if is there. I mean, are we trying to get that underhand? Or do you understand that this league now, it is not, you do not have to be in it, and it's easy for its members to not have someone play in it. And if it continues to happen, I know I've had 4 or 5 people ask me about it. We've had some people didn't want to even go out and play, and we assured them that there was no problems out there or anything else. But can you give me a background on what's going on out there to create this kind of mess for us?
To be honest with you, Paul, this is the first time since the time that I've been involved or part of the league of North Lakeland that something like this has happened. And I do agree with you.
Are you aware of all of them?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I am all aware of all of them, every single one of them. I was actually on the field when the third one happened, when the final and third one happened. So, and we had never experienced anything like that, of that nature. And we were all ashamed and embarrassed for what took place. But like you said, there's a 2 sides to every story.
Absolutely, and we understand. I looked up, and anybody else can chime in. I've been, all of the guys on this board have all run, coached. These aren't some featherheads that show up to be on a board. Every one of them has been involved for years in running, coaching. I mean, we've been down in the field all of us for years, so we understand. Absolutely, that stuff happens, no doubt about it. It starts happening repeatedly where we start to, where everyone starts to take notice, and we're at the point now that everyone now is taking notice on the board here and started to think, that this is not an aberration. The third time, you got to figure that there's some. And I know you're embarrassed by it. I'm not trying to dress you down at all. I just want to stress to you how important it is that we get that you communicate to all of your parents and coaches that they won't be in the league if this continues, because we cannot, in a decent world, send people or have people in the league that are going to be where we're going to have problems at the fields. And again, I understand it's not there's 2 sides to every story, but this is 3 in a row, and we have to start to get to that. We're starting now to take some notice. And if you could, the first thing is, when these things happen, we haven't had good communication with you. We haven't with Greg. So That's the first thing. You say, "Hey, I got this. I know what happened. I'm talking to those coaches and teams and telling them they can't do this." The coach, obviously, I don't care what anybody says, can't act out like that in front of the parents and in front of the kids. I know that the referee may not be calling it right. I mean, we've heard every possible rendition of bad referees, but that for us is absolutely no excuse for anybody going past the point that this guy went to. So that's the first thing, and I think he's going to get a couple games. I think it's on the dais tonight. Am I correct?
Well,
Yes, I gotta tell you something, Paul. Yes, whenever something happens and the common denominator happens to be us, and this.
okay, whoever's got the train voice, can you please mute?
Whoever on the train, get off.
Oh, I thought it was me, but that's not me. It's somebody else. Yeah, it happens that the 3 incidents had happened with 3 different teams. The only common denominator has been us, North Lakeland. So yes, it's clear that there's something on our side that's happening. But when I spoke with the coach, especially that incident with the referee, it happened at Winter Haven, and I happened to be there as well. I was on the sideline. The game was going really well the first half, and I even went to the coach's side and I commended the referee for the kind of work that he was doing. I remember doing that. But then things got a little out of hand in the second half. It was a really tight game. 2 teams competing for first place.
All right, okay.
And I personally could tell you, but like I said, like you said before, there's 2 sides to every story.
Yes.
I could personally tell you that there were some calls that should have gone our way that didn't happen. And as a coach, you sometimes get out of hand or you get excited about certain things. When I spoke with the coach after the incident, he mentioned that in no shape or form he cursed to the referee. Yeah, they had an exchange at the end of the game when he was signing the report, in which he asked, "Oh, you think that some of the calls that you did were correct?" And I heard the referee tell him, "That's why I'm the official." And he said, the coach said, "But because you're the official, that doesn't make it right." But at that point he was already. That's when the game ended. He was already thrown out, and he was the one that signed the paper. On the incident that happened with the mother that I think even lost her job, supposedly the team, one of the team's mom from the other team even approached her after the game in the parking lot. I don't know what kind of behavior that went on because I wasn't part of it, but I know that lady ended up losing her job because she said something that she was not supposed to. I think she gave the police a different name, and she actually worked for the police department here in Lakeland. And when they got word of it, they
You're
decided.
talking about the first one in Charlotte, yes?
Correct. Yes. So she ended up losing her job because of this situation. We have already taken some measurements on our side, and we spoke with the parents. We had a meeting with the parents. We had a meeting with the coach that had the incident at Winter Haven, and we also had a meeting with the parents from the last incident. And we told them very clearly, kids are going to be removed from the club if it happens again. Coaches are going to be removed. Coaches are going to be, aside from your suspension, the coaches are going to be suspended as well if an incident like that happens again. Because like that had never happened in our club. This is the first time that incidents like that have come.
And what was their response when you mentioned that? Were they more put out, or were they more like, yeah, we shouldn't be doing that?
No, they agree. They definitely
Okay.
agree. And again, some of the parents came on the field because the other team's parents also came on the field.
Sure.
And I can tell you, I was in the middle of all of that, separating people, and there was one of the parents from the other team that had one of our players on a headlock on the floor. We in no shape, I am a firm believer that, especially if you have a club from another place, I don't think we as board members should be inciting or encouraging our parents.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely
and
not.
we were, I even argued with some of my parents. I told them, any of you that crosses this line is going to be completely removed from the club from this
Yeah.
point. You
Well,
know,
it's just like in high school, you step out on the field and, in a situation to make it worse, and, you're going to get suspended 6 weeks for it, just putting a foot on the field. So, I mean, there's appropriate ways of resolving and handling even a fight, for that matter, than
Correct.
for everybody to create chaos, in that retrospect. So, and, we're talking about a youth soccer game too. It's, we're not talking about the Super Bowl or the World Cup.
exactly.
So, yeah.
The one thing that I was informing or telling both sides, we are the adults. We should be
Correct.
there for the kid. If
Correct.
we behave that way, what are the example that we are showing them that this is
Right.
is acceptable?
And this has got to be bigger than the game. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We as adults, we as coaches, we all have, we all face it. I face it as a coach. We all face it. It's inevitable. But we have to make sure, that because this comes up every year at the FYSA AGM. How are we going to handle the parents? How are we going to handle these coaches? I think it's got to come from the clubs, and the clubs have this is my opinion as a board member, but it's got to come from the clubs. It's got to come from the leagues in the sense, that we as a league can't really tolerate a club, allowing this behavior. So the next resort is to either fine the club or dismiss the club from the league. And we don't want to do that, of course, and we appreciate you handling it at that level. But I think the parents need to understand. I mean, that's something you can use with the parents too, is that they're putting not only they're putting the club at jeopardy of not having, or a team not having a place to play, or a club being fined. So,
and for us at this point, I totally agree with you. For us at this, we're growing from the bottom. We are growing from the bottom up right now. We recently had a very successful season with our UA boys team. They went undefeated. And we don't want to jeopardize the membership with USA.
No.
That would allow us to compete with other clubs and then lose that talent, and
correct.
We told the parent very specifically, because of one bad apple, we're not going to have everybody here pay the consequences. Either the coach
Is Tanya Jackson one of your DOCs?
No, she is actually the wife of one of our coaches, the U11 coach.
Okay. I don't, and I'm looking at if you can see this here, the last sentence on this game report from the referee.
Mm-hmm.
That's just not, if she's the wife of a coach, that's just uncalled for, totally uncalled for.
I do not beat his
GDS.
Yeah. The only reason she didn't do it is because Bowens was on the side.
Oh.
Well, that's what really disturbed me the most about this whole report.
Yes.
Is that you're talking I mean, to me that I would have dismissed that parent or that coach. I mean, all right, I don't want to hold the coach responsible for what his wife's going to say, but that's completely uncalled for. And a U11 game. Yeah. So she needs to be really known that comments like that will get back to us will cause fines and very heavy consideration of dismissal, because we can't have that can't be done. It's one thing to be incited by you're in the heat of the game and blah blah blah, but to come across and say that's what you're gonna, even if it's just lip service, you can't do that. You just can't be doing
One of the things we have to do is make our affiliate, our members, understand that FYSA does have a code of conduct for parents, for spectators, parents, coaches, and players. Ultimately, all of them except for one ends up where the coach gets suspended. If the parents and spectators and whatever are going to be this crazy or this rowdy, whatever word you want to put to it, FYSA is going to expect us to come down with the code of conduct, which suspends the coach for at least a year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for us, nobody wants to do that, but if this continues, we have to do something. I think once you do it, then everybody's going to take a look and go, "Oh my goodness, we better not do this again."
Well, we've been trying for the last couple of years to really set the tone for this, and I know it's come up a lot in FYSA, but I don't think you're going to be able to have a broad rule across the board of the state and say, this is what's going to happen if parents are this or parents are that. But that's why I say it has to come from us as a league saying we're not going to tolerate it. Which then
But we've done this
dominoes.
twice before, Steve.
We have.
Clubs we've told, just like we're telling him today. That
Right.
This
I think it was
is
Auburndale and
putting you on notice that this is, if
Correct.
any more of this happens, next year you won't be in the league. And we did put bylaws 2 years ago to address that.
Yeah.
We don't need a reason. We can say, well, we can have the reason being.
it's not we're punishing you, we're just not accepting your
we just can't
affiliation.
do it anymore, So
Yeah.
we're to the point now with the third thing. If we don't want to see anymore because we're right on the verge of asking for you guys to be dropped out of the league, and we don't want to do that. But one more incident like this, now hopefully we're done with the year.
Yeah, so please relay that to all coaches and everything.
And we will do an emergency meeting very soon. Now that I'm here with the
Use this as to them and say, look, they're going to take us out of the league. One more thing happens.
Yeah.
Right, and use it to your advantage. Use it to your advantage. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's exactly the message that I'm going to relay.
This isn't something anybody likes to do, but you know what? We've got to do it because this is the only way our members can feel safe. And one time, yes, twice even, all right, 3 times.
No, it's the 3 strikes, you're out basically. Period.
Yeah.
So that's enough said. I mean, but that's this is the first warning in a sense. This is the first warning that you guys are now under the microscope.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the case, and I wouldn't see it any other way. So again, I thank you guys all for being straightforward because that's the way that I would prefer. So
Yes, yeah, we don't.
And I'm going to relay the message to the whole club, and again, if we are going to be suspending people from the get-go. That's
Right.
there's no other way about it. We
Right.
can put ourselves in the position to lose the membership and then affect the other teams. We're not gonna do that. Definitely not.
All right,
Well, we
let's
appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody? What number was that? Or do we have a game?
49-52.
All right. How about the ref? Now we've got the. Do we have anything on the coach for that match? Right? Or is there did the referee turn the coach in? Is that I don't.
Well, he said the coach ran onto the field.
He didn't evict him though. He didn't take him out of the game, did he?
Well, he didn't.
I think he didn't. I think he did not take him out of the field because there was no assistant coaches on the.
Yeah. All right.
And again, due to the fact that it's a youth game, I guess he didn't want to.
No, I mean guys get tossed all the time out of youth games. That's not,
Yeah, but in a sense, I think the referee thought about the kids more than since was not. My assumption of this is. And he knows that the coach. I had a conversation with him as well, and he knows that he messed up. And he said he didn't take me out because he knew that there was no assistant coaches on the bench on my team.
I should have had his wife coach.
Is there any recommendation from the board as far as his coach is concerned? See, I don't see Merritt. Are you still there?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm here.
I don't see any violent conduct. I mean, I don't see him threatening the ref or anything. Not that you have to do that, but do you see anything specific enough for a suspension?
Well, it doesn't have to be violent, but irresponsible behavior is the definition. And yeah, I'm probably with Mr. Ortiz there. He probably left him in the game because there wasn't somebody that the team would end up forfeiting the game.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why he didn't toss him out.
Yeah. So I'm not sure where you're asking, Paul.
Well, the guy wasn't tossed in this particular instance, Merritt. So do you suspend him for a match because of his behavior?
The coach himself?
Yeah, the coach.
Well, it says the coach also argued with the referee multiple times in a very inappropriate manner.
Yeah, but I mean, look.
Well, unfortunately, the team probably and the club would probably have been better served if the referee had dismissed the coach.
That's what I was getting at here. He should have.
Yeah. And he should have just dismissed him. The game should have been.
Yeah. This doesn't do us any good if he's just going to leave the guy.
And then it would have really come to a head real quick.
Yes.
So by the referee being too nice, now we're left with this decision. And I guess as a board, we could, like every league in the world, they assess either fines or extra game suspensions based on behavior, even more so than what the referee wrote up.
Well, up and down vote. What does everyone think?
Well, I mean, if the club wants to take responsibility and they understand the consequences of misbehavior again, and that they won't be part of the league, then let's leave it up to them to take a stand.
Right. Right.
I agree with Mike.
Okay. All right.
And going along with Mike, and the club might self-impose a one-game suspension on the coach if they wanted it.
Correct.
Well, that would look good for them if they were to do that.
And then when it kind of sets it up for the rest of the clubs, that hey, even though the referee didn't toss them out, we're going to take control of it.
Exactly. I agree with that.
In this case, I'm gonna butt in here for 1 second. I think their season is over, but I know that they have tournaments coming up. So what we'll do in this case, we're gonna suspend it for a game during one of those tournaments. And we're gonna
that would be a good idea.
And we're gonna let you guys know, hey, the coach has been suspended for this game, for this club. I mean, for this tournament.
Yeah, because as far as USA is concerned, we don't have any more games with him, Andy. So
exactly.
I think that's a good gesture.
Yeah, I agree.
And make sure that the league knows about it.
Yeah, keep us posted on everything as far as that's concerned.
I'm gonna make sure that I'll send Sherry an email letting her know. Hey,
Andy, stay close to us too. That's one place we haven't had a real good communication with, and if we get it, we're much better off. Not just about this stuff, but about everything you're trying to do.
Okay.
Yeah. We appreciate your professionalism.
Because really, we're here to support you and your efforts. I mean, we're not here to whack people, but
and we do appreciate
we're really here
those
to
efforts.
support it. And if we don't know who's out there and really don't have a good communication with them, we can't help either. We can't do anything positive for you either.
Agree. And we thought about it. We discussed it internally, especially after the third incident happened, and some of the board members decided, oh no, let's first hear from FYSA. But I happen to be, and I'm not, I happen to be one of those that said I think it's best if we go ahead and reach out to them and let them know, hey, this is what happened. I know that it's going to look bad on us again because this is the third incident that happened with our club. But I agree with you, Paul, and all of you. Going forward, hopefully none of this will happen again. But if it does happen, I'm to reach out to you guys and let you know.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all for
thank you.
Take care.
Listen, as a board, we've got a bunch of these games and some other things. You want to discuss it? You want to get through all these games? What do you guys think?
Is it okay if I drop then?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
What do you guys think? You want to blast through these games first, and then get anything else we got to have when we're exhausted at the end?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Yes.
Let's do it.
5451. Who's got the info? Sherry or Greg? Greg, have you got most of the info, or Sherry?
Greg. I think Greg has this one.
Yeah. The issue with this is that
Who is it?
it's Liverpool, and they've got guest players, secondary players, club pass players that are being club passed from a CDL team, not from a USA team.
Did someone complain about this?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, what is our ruling on that? I
Uh,
mean, do we have it in our bylaws that they cannot be, CDL players cannot play on USA teams?
No.
I understand they
No.
can't do it
Because
that
division-wise,
isn't
but
true.
No, we played against SC Sarasota, and their CDL players would, at the end of their CDL game, take off their shirts, put on their new jerseys, and then come play against us in USA.
and then go
Mark,
play
if
you in
that's-
USA.
Mark, if that's provable, you understand FYSA does not allow players to play.
Two games.
in one day.
Oh, no.
Well, that's a
not
different
now.
story,
Not
yeah.
now. Probably U15, U16.
Okay, but let's go back to what Steve and Greg and I talked about this. A CDL is assumed to be a premier thing, or was in the past. This is
Yeah, but see, now they have a first and a second
I
division.
got it. So we always assumed that they were a first division, and they.
Right, but they're not like that all the time now.
Yeah, so I don't know how. I mean, we're gonna have to sort through that because again, it was assumed that they were premier division, and anybody
Right.
playing second, third division was
Obviously, we're
against our
playing
rules
down.
because of
Right.
that. But that was the only thing we've ever said about CDL is the assumption when there were fewer teams and it was, just a few that they were using them and they were from a better team coming down.
Right.
Like that.
Yeah, right, and that's when CDL
But there
was
is
first
no-
formed and, but there's
Understand?
no rule in there,
There's
right?
no, because CDL is a FYSA team. They can club pass them. They're in FYSA. There's no thing on our part not to have CDL players play. In fact, to some degree, it's good, right? I mean, these teams get filled out with
Absolutely.
competition, more people playing.
But we do need to determine now how they
I don't know.
organize their
We've got about
first
4 or
and
5 of
second
these.
division.
They're real, I'd almost, like this one. We've got kids that were guest players, which we don't have. Right? Secondary players, which we ain't got, and club pass players, which we allow, but where are they coming from? And Mike, have you ever sorted any of that out?
Well, they didn't break the club pass rule unless they're in a CDL team that was playing in the first division.
Well, in this particular case, they did have a guest player and 3 secondary players on the,
Secondary players aren't allowed, and that's too many.
and neither are the guest players.
Right. Guest
They had a
players are not
total
allowed.
of, is that the one against the U12 PCU team?
No, yes, it is.
Okay, they had 5 guest players on the roster, which
Yeah.
is only
Well,
3
that's
allowed.
that's illegal in itself. So that,
Yes.
as far as I'm concerned, that's a forfeit on their part.
Yes.
I don't care where they came from.
Yeah, they had 8, Kai. Just
Yep.
It was 3 secondary players, 1 guest player.
Still too many.
One, wasn't there another club pass player, right? This is
Yes,
5.
right.
Yeah,
There was,
total of 5. Total of 5.
There was 5. Agreed. There was 5 players, and the club pass player was from a CDL team. That player has no record in the whatchamacallit, in USA.
That doesn't matter. That does again, Greg.
Well, we don't have it in the bylaws to say that. True.
5.
That's not the issue.
Right.
It's the other things that are issues. These guys don't know the rules. They got to start reading them.
Yeah. Well, it says right in our bylaws that ignorance isn't a defense.
Oh, I know, I got it. Just is you got just making up their own rules, and I think this Liverpool thing is kind of a tarp. The guys that were playing for Tarpon, and so they probably don't even have an idea what can and can't be done, and they need to know. They need to figure it out.
Well, I think a 3-0 forfeit will get them to understand.
How about it, folks?
I agree.
Agree.
All right, that's it. Forfeit 3-0 for playing secondary and guest players. Neither one of them allowed in USA.
All right. Let me get that down before we get to the next one.
We've got like 3 of them, though, don't we, Greg?
There's a couple. There's a couple. Okay, 5455 forfeit to CPU.
Yeah, use of guests and secondary players, not allowed. They're ineligible.
Right.
Boom.
Okay. All right. 5085.
I have a question about that for 1 second. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Shouldn't the referees have been able to look at that game card and seen that it was wrong because it had secondary and guest players? Shouldn't it have been stopped at that point?
You're right. Yes, the referee.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what should have happened.
But that referee apparently never came to the classes that I held that told those referees secondary and guest players aren't allowed.
Is that you, Melissa, that asked that question?
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah,
curious.
I'll tell you, man. No, we could have avoided half the things on these things right now had the referee been very sharp. Now, some of them the referee cannot immediately check, but this he could have stopped right here and said, "Hey, you can't. This is too many people." But too many of our centers really aren't up on our rules. And I think, secondly, this is for all of us. We got to take a look at those rules and really refine them this year because this is a real crazy area now, and we really got to think it through so we can make it easier for the referees to spot it, but also for everybody to understand what we can and can't do.
And this is not exclusive to USA League by any stretch of the imagination. I have teams that participate in tons of leagues, and the referees, unfortunately, are not always equipped to follow the procedures for whatever reason. That's a whole other topic of discussion. But also, I don't believe Liverpool has any teams playing in CDL, so I'm not sure where that came from. Although they were wrong to have secondary and guest players, but I think the CDL thing, I don't believe that's accurate.
Well, he was club passing. The assumption is he was a CDL. I don't know that anybody. Greg, do you actually know he was a CDL player?
All I know is he wasn't
All
a
we
USA
know is it
player.
was club pass that he had an FYSA pass, and he's in the club, and he was eligible age-wise. The assumption was a CDL. But
okay. Yeah, they don't have any teams that play in CDL, though. Okay.
There you go.
Hey, well,
So where was he? Greg?
Who knows?
We don't know. See, Melissa, we can't check. The one thing we are a lot of discussion the last 60 days. We can't go into the CDL rosters. We don't have that ability. So we're really, well, we don't want to. I mean, I'm not going to police their league.
No, he could have been a recreational player that they put on the roster, you know.
Yeah, it could have been a lot of places. Could be a kid in another team. One time we assumed the kid was not playing, and he was on a roster like 2 or 3 age groups or 2 age groups down. You know, somewhere you'd never figure to look in a roster. So, you know.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But that's an interesting thing. I would just mark a note on that. I know we don't have to spend any more research time on it, Greg, but that is an interesting thing for that.
Right. There's just 2 questions on this. First of all, you don't have to worry about forfeiting or anything because the other team won. It wasn't even close.
You're talking about 5085 now?
No, I'm talking about the one with Liverpool. Yeah.
I thought Liverpool won.
No, Liverpool won.
Liverpool won the match, Greg.
Wait a minute. Which one?
5451.
5451.
5451. Thank you.
By the thing, it just says Liverpool.
Okay, hold on. 5451. There we go. Oh yeah, they did. Right. Well.
Hey, Paul, while Greg's looking at that.
That's the one we just adjudicated with Kai.
Yeah, but Melissa's making a point that the other assumption is that he had a CDL kid, and it isn't. He was just club.
But right, you just said they're going to forfeit to PCU 3-0 for using
anyway because of the secondary and
secondary and
Right,
guest
the
players.
secondary and guest players makes the whole
But
CDL thing a
her point
point.
is well taken,
Yes.
and with one thing we've already been.
Right. Okay, we're on to 5085. And this one is this one's a moot point. I mean, Hernando protested the game up front with the referee, okay, saying that and this is the part that I'd like to find out. I don't know who Christian Ortiz is. If he's the coach's kid, nephew, whatever. But this kid, I know for a fact, is not in USA.
Right, but again, he's got an FYSA pass.
Right.
For that club.
Right. So I don't know who he's with or what he's with, but
Playing in any league, it's not. This coach, this was the coach that called me or emailed me before this match ever happened, and I told him before the match, you need to go to the referee. Melissa, might be interesting for you. Go to the referee and say specifically, there are kids that are on this roster that are about to play today. We're protesting if they play. They played in any way. The referee did not.
Well, the referee can't know that the kid played in a game earlier than that day. I mean, how?
Well, no, it wasn't necessarily early in that day. No, this kid, this is a Division III match. So any CDL player, any kid coming from the CDL. Now, if the coach says, "Hey, it's not from the CDL. Here's where he's rostered," that would be fine. Although it's a moot point, they lost the match. But he actually protested before the match about this particular player. So he must have known beforehand, or I can assume the coach knew beforehand, that this kid was going to play. I told him, get in touch with the coach of the other team and explain to him what the situation was. And the coach responded and said, well, Christian shouldn't be because he's younger. That was the point, right? Greg, I think the coach responded, hey, the kid's 9 or something. He shouldn't be a force in the game. Well, obviously at 4-1 he wasn't.
Right. But here's the question still remains. What do we do here with this? We don't.
You can't. Can you assume he's he's a CDL rostered player?
Well, all we can assume that is that
not in USA.
He's not right.
Right. But that doesn't mean he is somewhere. Melissa made the point, and that's what you and I have been discussing. We've got to clean up our things because we can't assume because a kid isn't on an FYSA roster, he is a CDL player and therefore on a premier team.
Right.
And playing in the 3rd division. But hey, Steve, if you could check with your club and try and figure out what that is, that would help.
Okay, so the resolution on this is
we'll just ask Steve, just look into it. I mean, it's
okay. So there's no disciplinary action other than, and Steve's going to look inward.
I don't know. Does somebody else want to suggest something?
No.
Hey, Paul.
Yes.
I'd like to say something.
Okay.
In reference to administrative rules and regulations of a league, this referee did exactly on this one game exactly what we want to do. If a coach comes up and protests before the game, he's to make a note of that. Even though they go to these things, these referees don't know all these administrative rules for all the different leagues in the state. And so they make a note of it, and there's our proof source, and he did a great job. And we tell him if he's got a player's pass and he's on the roster, you make a note, play the game, and then if it's forfeited later, do exactly what we do.
The coach and the referee, I think, did exactly what we'd want them to do. One of them mentioned who. Like I said, maybe the ref could have asked about him and made it determination, but it didn't matter.
They're not going to be the judge and jury.
No, I got you.
And so a team travels for an hour and a half, and the referee makes a decision like that.
No, I got you. I agree.
We don't want that.
But we administratively, we've got to take a look at all of this stuff and see if we can't come up with something a little more streamlined than we have now.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. 5741. Now, I talked emails with Georgianne from East Pasco. Told me she would be online tonight for this meeting. I do not see her, or she hasn't chimed in. And basically what we have here is, it's over here. Let's get this straight here. There we go. It's a pretty long dissertation, but if you want, you can read through it. It started with the red card and escalated from there.
See, this to me, this you toss this guy, right? This for me, you guys.
He didn't toss him though, and when he went back to the bench, and get the coach to
Well,
sign.
this clearly Merritt. You see this? I felt threatened.
I'm sorry?
Merritt, do you see where he says in here? I felt threatened.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
That's that statement. So this is ref abuse of some sort, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, definitely. And the fact that
Started to call the police. Now I don't know why he didn't.
Yeah, the fact that he felt threatened, and he said the East Pasco parents acted totally unprofessionally and disrespectfully to the referees and were inciting violence.
Yeah.
It doesn't get, and he's talking about the coach. He named specifically the coach was the one that was inciting the violence.
Yeah.
And the verbal assaults, which.
Well, Merritt, what do you do here?
Well, again, if like that one game report, last month, the guy called the cops, they got a game report and everything else. Well, that took it out of our hands, and that was good. He got a police report, so the police are working into it. This one, the guy started to call the cops, but he should call his signer and he call his district referee administrator and file an abuse charge.
Yeah, see, that's what. Now, look, if he doesn't do that, if he doesn't do it, what's our role in this as far as needing to do it?
I don't think we can do anything from filing a referee abuse charge, but we can do something as a league, suspending.
Yeah, I know, but we can't file a referee abuse. It has to come from him. Is that correct?
Right. Now, he wrote this up pretty good.
I thought so.
And, we can act on that as far as suspending the coach.
Merritt, hold on. Meguino, which club are you with?
Tarpon FC.
I'm sorry?
Tarpon FC.
Oh, that's Marcelo. Is that you?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Marcelo, were you here for the
Liverpool.
Yeah, Liverpool.
No, I don't have the Liverpool one.
All right. Well, we just finished it.
I can represent that one though.
Yeah. Well, we just finished it
Okay.
about 5 minutes ago. And that's a forfeit.
Okay.
They got guest players. It's a minute. Just so you know. All right. So, let somebody want to suggest what to do with the coach.
You got to do something. You got to do something with this coach.
We need to also contact East Pasco, Greg, and explain to them that this behavior is unacceptable also by their fans.
Yeah, I mean, this is no different than North Lakeland deal.
No, it's only, but we don't have 3 of them.
No, yeah, but what I'm saying is that they're going to be put on notice about
Yes.
their behavior of managing their parents and coaches. And I think that the coach needs to be suspended for his behavior in this situation.
Okay. How many games?
I'll make it a game.
Yes.
Yeah, if he was tossed for irresponsible behavior, it'd be 1 game. So.
All right. So 1 game suspension and a contact to the and contact to the East Pasco team. There's nobody on right now from East Pasco. Are we correct in assuming that?
I don't see anybody.
Okay. Well, they can speak up.
Just tell them that this is unacceptable behavior and that action will be taken if this doesn't change.
So I'm sorry, are we sending the notice about the game suspension, or does that come from the club like North Lakeland was going to do?
No. This is from us. I think we allowed the North Lakeland guy a little bit of slack. Mainly because he got on and heard an explanation, I think. Right?
The guy's lucky he's not in front of the police.
Okay. So I'll send the letter and notify him of the suspension.
Yes, and we need, the troubling thing, and correct me if I'm wrong for the board, when a guy comes to North Lakeland, like he did at least, and we can get a hold of him and tell him, hey, that's to me a lot better situation than when we don't even know who's out at East Pasco and see this type of thing going on. That to me, it scares me a little bit. You guys agree?
No, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, we feel much
These
better
clubs
about
are out there floating to some degree and doing crazy things, and we don't know who to talk to there. They're not communicating with us.
All right. Let's moving right along. Moving right along. Let's get this next one up. 547. Come on. Oh, here it is. Okay. What we have here is a failure to communicate. Let's see. Oh, right. I know this one. This is Bartow versus Seminole. Okay. As you can see, it's U16 girls game. The Seminole coach, okay, again, protested the use of a player, which there were actually two players. The one player was not on the game card, had a pass, a FYSA pass, but was not on the game card. And the referee, Robert Doyle, told the coach from Bartow that they're not allowed, that girl cannot play because she's not on the game card, okay? So that's kudos to the coach and to the referee. But there was also, which again I can't tell whether or not this is the coach's daughter or not, but Brasida Gomez is listed on the game card and at the game as a guest player, not as a rostered player. And we've already set the precedent that says guest players are not allowed to play and the game should be forfeited.
Did the Seminole coach complain? They went through this. Why didn't they catch that?
They did.
He did complain.
He did complain, and it's on the game. He sent us a copy of the game report, and the referee wrote on there that they dismissed the use of Tara Barian,
right,
and noted that the player Gomez was a guest player, but they played the game anyway.
Yeah, when you say guest player, in other words, is she not a FYSA player? How did they guest her from where?
Well, she probably wasn't in the club.
So she wasn't a club pass player. She was a guest player.
Yeah, and what does that mean, though?
That's two different.
I understand that. But if you can't club pass her, what does that mean?
A guest player means you're coming from another team.
Okay.
Because they would have club passed her if she was in.
Right. That's what I'm asking. I'm saying you club pass her if she was in the club.
Right. They didn't club pass her. It's a guest player, so that should be on one of the
forfeit.
Okay.
Forfeit.
Right. I mean,
that's a forfeit.
Yeah.
Forfeit, right? Forfeit.
Right. Forfeit.
Forfeit.
Nothing. You don't see any malice or anything else, misfortunes with the coach?
No, I don't know.
No.
This would be a good one.
Well, he tried to sneak.
We used
Tried to sneak the one player in there and got caught.
Yeah, but I mean, they're gonna punish that, forfeit the game, so he got caught. So.
And not only that, Greg, we don't know about intent. I mean, it's no sense. It's not going any further. We need to right away. This would be a lesson to them that you got to get people to actually have legit players.
Okay, so Bartow, corporate.
I also wanted to add, it could be that their registrar just didn't put them on right. They may have been with their club and they just the right setting.
That's a good point. But
how do you mean, Melissa?
We're at the end of the season now. This isn't the first week. You know.
Not the first.
It's not the
Well,
first week, it's the end of the
if this
season.
were another year, we'd go back and check every one of them that they ever played this year, but I'm not going to do it.
No,
No, look at it. It's simple. No guest players is a forfeit. That's what we think.
Yeah.
Is there a way to check if that player's in the club? Maybe the registrar did.
There,
Make
there is.
Yeah.
There is, but we can't,
Yeah, but either even if she was in the club, they didn't follow procedure, and it's the end of the-
Exactly.
end of the story.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
need a club pass, Marcel. It's gotten to the point where we've got 30 of these every weekend, and we can't keep going back. We don't have the time to go back and look at every roster now because there's so many different places people can play.
Okay.
We've run into this already. We're just out of time during the week trying to find out about these guys. Your thing is to just let's stay with the rules or try at the end of the season to streamline it if possible.
Okay.
okay. 1759. There's a couple of us that talked at length with this. The bottom line here is that apparently Lee County and FC Tampa.
Who is this? All right, so I'm recused from this one.
Right. Apparently Lee County and back in August or whatever, the first time they met, the game was canceled or they couldn't start it because of lightning, so they abandoned the game. They came up with a nice plan, but they never documented it, where they were going to play a doubleheader the next time they met.
Right, they did document it.
Sorry?
They did document it. We already established that.
Augie documented it?
No, they somewhere in there, the game got scheduled. That's we just.
Well, okay, somehow it did, but now it's not there no more.
Yeah, but it was.
Yeah,
Lars,
it was and it
Lars
wasn't.
been a referee.
Okay,
And this one's over, right?
Okay.
I mean, not that I'm part of this,
Right.
but this is the most confusing thing I've ever seen. But there's no doubt now, that's what we were discussing with Sherry before the match. Somehow this game was scheduled. VARs did provide a referee, sent a referee, and I think this doubleheader thing's ridiculous. It's stupid. If that's what they want to do, there's nothing illegal about it. But once they set the game and the referee was assigned, these guys paid the referee also. I mean, so the referee shows up. The game was somehow in there, and it's not anymore. Don't ask me how that happens. Something's really wrong system, though.
Well, no, it's because somebody told me that they didn't play.
Oh, I got you.
So then
So you actually removed it. Oh,
I'm
that's
sorry.
good. Okay, so it's not the system. Somebody you actually removed it.
It's me.
Okay.
I guess I'm the issue.
No, you're not actually, Sherry. That's better.
Yeah.
The only
You're
way
interfering.
be moved to another date is you have to change it. You can't
I got
put
you.
in our game change request on a past
Okay.
date.
So we're going to put.
I did that.
Yeah,
So
but
we're gonna,
that's good because now it explains why it's not in the system anymore.
from now on, we're gonna note Sherry, AKA the system.
Well, no, but that's better.
Yeah.
than
No,
what
it
I was
makes
thinking
sense.
But I mean,
normally.
somebody told me to do that, and I'm,
Okay. Bottom line is Augie's, the FC Tampa is asking for a forfeit. And I don't think I think they should just play the game.
I think it's a forfeit, but I'm not going to say anything.
You think so?
They
Can I
scheduled-
butt in? I'm sorry. Can I butt in? I think Augie was a forfeit, and Augie was there, and I was there, and the referee was there. He waited 30 minutes.
Oh, Coco.
So it should be a forfeit for FC Tampa.
Coco, you look like you're from a reggae time. What are you doing? You look like you're a reggae.
Come on, he's sleeping.
I just came from a concert.
That's reggae. What is that smoke that's coming out of behind you over there?
It's from Jamaica. So, the referee was there. Everything was planned. The Lee County coach was there. He sent his players back to Lee County. So I think it should be a forfeit.
What did he, Coco? What did he say when the second game didn't start? Did he have an answer for you?
according to Augie, the only thing he says is, I'm not going to play the second game, and we need at least 4 hours to play the second game. And Augie told him, I said, you agreed to this. And I told Augie, I said, I don't see how USA was able to agree to play 2 games back to back. Apparently it was done.
I don't know that there's any law against it.
Well, no, look, I mean, if the two coaches had agreed to it and then he reneged on it afterwards, then it should be a forfeit.
Yes.
Well, the first question is, Mike, and I don't think we don't have anything in our bylaws about playing times being separated or not being able to play 2 matches back to back. I think it's a dumb idea personally, but I mean,
I agree with that. I think it's a dumb idea.
I'm not a, but that's not me. I mean, I didn't put this together. These 2 guys did, and somebody must have agreed on it to get it set up in USA system to get a referee there, which I didn't understand until about.
No, they had to put in a game change request. It's
Yes. And they would have had to agree to it, right? The home team, the away team.
Right. Yeah, I have to. If I don't get an agree, I never click approve.
Sure, that's what I'm saying. That's what I couldn't understand how it dropped out of the system, but now I got it. So what do we want to do? Let's just someone make a suggestion.
I recuse myself.
Huh? You can't either, Mike.
You can't, Mike. You're part of FC Tampa.
We're FC Tampa too.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Steve or Alan, somebody.
Brian, Mark.
Yeah, somebody make a suggestion here.
Forfeit.
Okay, we got a forfeit from Mark.
And from
Alan.
Yeah,
forfeit. You got.
I'm here too. As much as I would like to say no, but yeah, it sounds like a forfeit.
Well, maybe the end of the year we can put something, harebrained ideas like this shouldn't get through.
Now, is there a fine yet?
Okay, what about the fine now?
Can I make a suggestion there that we waive the fine? It's so screwed up that they paid it. I don't know. Somebody, I'm part of it.
Okay, so what?
I wouldn't fine them.
Yeah.
This is so screwy.
Make the motion to pass on the fine.
Okay.
All
right, so the Lee County forfeits 3-0 to FC Tampa, no fine imposed.
Right.
Correct.
And just for the record, we paid the referee.
Yeah, as long as the referees were paid.
Yeah.
Well,
we just got screwed on that one. That's all.
No, you didn't. You got 5 points.
No, no more now. We got to figure out.
Okay.
Right.
Number 2099, unpaid fine, Brooksville. I don't have that documentation. You got it, Sherry?
Yeah, I believe. Can you pull up the game report, please?
I sure can.
Oh.
I actually know how to do that real quickly.
I gotta drop out and pull up my
Sure.
We're shooting for 9 o'clock, guys.
Hey, what's the over and under on that?
Oh, come on now.
Okay, so this one had to do with this was Oldsmar versus Brooksville, and we received an email from Oldsmar that the Brooksville team sent the coach an email at 12:30 p.m. on game day informing us they were not going to play. Long story short, we paid the ref, so we'd like to be reimbursed. Our team was checked in by the ref. The Brooksville coach showed up, but no players came. He is under the impression that his appearance and signature on the game report would be enough to avoid the fine.
I like that. I get that kind of bored.
Yes.
So now you have Oldsmar wanting to be reimbursed, but we have not received any money from Brooksville.
From Brooksville. Okay, so
Anybody want to that one?
I don't even know where to begin.
You know what? I give the guy credit for coming all the way down. From
Yeah, but I mean.
So you know what? Do we have a bylaw that
Well, yeah, if they forfeit game day, it's what is it, 350 or 500?
350.
Well, you can make it anything. It's suggested at 350.
Okay.
Reimburse referees.
Well, did Oldsmar paid the referees, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
The referees were paid.
That was the 100 for the refs and the 150.
All right, so we want a $250 fine?
How's that sound? At least
That
the guy
sounds
got down
good.
for the $100.
Well, I got to pay. I'm going to reimburse and send a check back. I have to send a check back to Oldsmar then for the $100.
That's correct.
Okay, and then we're going
Why
to.
is that? That's weird.
And so it's a
Yeah, I don't know. I
$250.
guess because it's one of those controlled medicines. Anyway, so she picked this out. She's.
All right. Next one.
Okay, hold on. So it's $250.
I don't know. Anybody got any ideas?
Are we giving them $250 or $350?
$250.
$250.
Yeah, the guy showed up. I mean, let's face it.
All right. So that's all right. That's $100 for gas. Okay.
Right. Well, you got to consider his time.
Right. There you go. Okay. 2218.
Oh, God.
2218.
Are we got any more of these?
Me also. Hold on. 20.
Oh,
You got this one too, Sherry.
Yep, this is me. Okay. Okay, so this one, the below game was a forfeit. It's the Lakeland Rowdies called the day of the game, saying they could not make it to play. Our coach Kevin has tried to reschedule the game, so apparently they decided that
Is this North Lakeland again?
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
and they're not responding to his request. So now,
Mike,
posing.
Mike, are you aware of anything? Are you aware of this one?
No, I'm drinking, man. I'm
No, no, no. No, the Mike, not you, Mike. Mike from St. Pete.
I'm telling you.
Mike, are you still on? Mike from St. Pete. I guess he left.
Well, anyway, so originally St. Pete was willing to reschedule, but now they're frustrated because they're not getting a response. So now they're asking for it to be a forfeit.
Well, don't we, correct me if I'm wrong, if we get no agreement, don't we then set the date and say either make it or get forfeit?
No, I think the rule says if they don't agree, it's a no game.
Really?
Well, this is going to be a forfeit because the team did not arrive.
Right.
Right.
Right, and we haven't put that in yet.
But we never did anything about that because they were apparently had agreed amongst themselves to reschedule it or something.
Well, but I believe the St. Pete Raiders have made the effort to try and reschedule it. They're not getting an answer from
Right.
from the team that never showed up in the first place.
Right.
So it's a forfeit.
Forfeit.
Why wasn't it a forfeit as soon as they didn't show up?
Because the two coaches had agreed to reschedule it.
Well, they can. I mean, they got to,
Yeah, but now the visiting team is not responding to the effort to reschedule. So just
the
forfeit.
St. Pete guy can just rescind his agreement, and it's a
Well,
forfeit, right?
the Rowdies, the North Lakeland is rescinding the agreement.
Right. Well, no, St. Pete is not is willing to play. He hasn't got an answer from North Lakeland. Is that
Correct.
Right.
Should have kept the guy on.
forfeit?
It's not even it's a no-brainer.
Forfeit.
But is there a fine?
$350.
Yeah.
Well, it's got to be if the referee was paid, there's got to be part of the fine.
Yes.
Well, and the coach didn't show up at the field.
That's 350.
So it's
$350. Yeah.
$350.
You have to put that in the bargain. Right? Over the field, it's only $250.
all right. Rowdies forfeit to St. Pete Raiders 3-0. $350 fine.
Jesus.
Oh.
Where's my gavel?
61-46.
Where's the gavel at? I don't have this one either, Sherry.
What's the number?
6136.
6136?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, give me 1 second.
I'll pull it up.
Yeah. 36. I think, hold on, there's so many of them. Oh, okay, I know about this one. This
Yes.
one, okay, this is on January 7th, and if you remember that, well, you may or may not remember, that day,
We don't have a
weather
game report.
was quite bad. And I had a lot of field closures that day. However,
No game report either.
right. Well, it was Charlotte versus, I want to say, one of the teams way up north. Luke Kirk is the coach. But anyway, so Charlotte did not coach. The other coach called me and he said, you know, I know that the weather's going to get bad later. What do you think I should do? And I said, well, if they haven't closed their fields, then the game is happening. And he said, well, I'm not comfortable driving 2.5 hours, and then they're going to close the Skyway, you know, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, you know, all I can tell you is if you don't go, it could be potentially a forfeit. You may have a fine. At the end of the day, your team's safety is your decision, you know. And so that was his story. Then an hour later, I get a call from Charlotte, and he said, yeah, well, he just doesn't want to play. He's bailed out on the last 2 times we were scheduled. So, of course, he thinks that it should be a forfeit. And, I mean, I don't
Alan, that's with Winter Haven, right? That's Kirkwood?
No, Luke Kirk. And I'm sorry, I don't have I don't know. I can look up I'd have to look back to figure out what team, but I know it was way up north and it was like 2.5 hour drive. That I do know.
So
Yeah, I don't think it's us. No.
Luke Kirk is with Spirit. He's a team manager. If that's the same guy, it could be a different one, obviously.
No, you know what? I think you are right, Brian.
Lew Kirk, Kirk.
Yes.
Okay, this is Charlotte versus Spirit. Apparently the phone only worked to you, Sherry, not to the Charlotte coach.
Well, no. No, after he spoke to me, he did call Charlotte and say he wasn't coming.
Oh.
And then as soon as he did, then Charlotte got upset. He called me, you know, and I said, well, I can't make him come, but, you know, he hasn't canceled, you know. And so he said that, of course, he feels it's a forfeit, you know. And I guess the question is it a forfeit, and then is there a fine?
Forfeit.
Or because of the weather, do you waive the fine?
No.
No. So the field wasn't closed, right? It wasn't closed?
Charlotte was not, but we did have multiple fields that did close that day.
But it doesn't matter. Charlotte's fields weren't closed.
Charlotte never did close.
Well, then it's a forfeit.
Forfeit. 350.
Move on.
Hey, you know, I'll make a suggestion later after we get through all this stuff.
Blanket these?
No, what I'm getting at is anytime when we get these forfeit monies, we should put it in a separate bucket and then, you know, pay for stuff like coaching and ID and all that kind of stuff. We can fund some of that with the forfeit funds.
Nah.
Is that like a cursing jar?
No, it looks like you're forfeiting. You're trying to raise.
It should be 400.
This isn't a fundraiser. This is a penalty.
So raise it to 450 if they don't drive to the field.
Duly noted.
We're gonna hire some guy out to say he's the coach and pay him $100 to drive down there. All right, we got 2 high school forfeits.
Yeah, these 2 are basically the same
Okay.
issue. It's the same team. Chad Doyle is the coach, and I'm finding his thing here 1 second. The night before, something about they were in, they qualified for high school.
Yeah, they made it to the.
They made it to regionals and.
They made it to They made it to regionals.
Right. So he did due diligence, and he did notify the teams that they were not going to play. He reached out, then he filed the appropriate form with us. I sent the official notice. We canceled the refs. And it was, I want to say it was the day before the game.
The refs were not canceled. I had to pay referee fees.
But you have to look out for the high school teams though that got all the way through.
Yeah, I don't want to punish them.
No.
Because you never know what high school teams are going to
Right.
do. So you cannot predict that. So as long as it was at least a 24-hour notice on that, I'm okay with that for just, it's forfeit or whatever. But, I think we had the same situation in another area too or something the same way, those things you can't predict. So, however, but as long as they got to pay. Well, the referees were canceled.
Yeah, but they said he paid him.
Not for Tarpon.
Who paid him?
Which one of them? Well, in not pay 24. Is that 24.56?
I'm driving, so I can't see the numbers on this.
Let's see.
One of the games was with Tarpon, and they contacted us and tell us it was canceled. However, the referee showed up, and we had to pay him.
Then the other team,
Well, I know I sent notices out on these, so I'm not sure why the referee showed up. Maybe he didn't get the email? I don't know.
One day ahead, I don't think it's that unusual that a referee does show because they got no alternative, right? For me,
they should be paid then.
Yeah,
I mean,
for me,
they should be
gotta
paid.
pay the ref.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And
I
the
believe
team,
it was on a Sunday, so it was
and
our
the
only.
team that forfeited should at least reimburse the refs.
Yeah, reimburse the refs, yes.
Yeah.
I agree. That's cool.
But no fine.
Correct.
So,
And honestly, I think that's what the guy was saying, was he had no problem paying the refs, but he didn't.
Okay, well, let's leave it at that. Yeah, but make sure it's known that it's a special circumstance, right?
is that for both of them?
Yeah, both of them. It was the same scenario for both.
The same coach?
Same answer.
Same coach.
Which team is it?
Nature Coast.
Nature Coast?
Nature Coast, yeah.
Was this the boys?
Boys.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. So yeah, they were dead. I can confirm that. Yeah.
Okay, so ref fees only, and it's
Yes.
and
Okay,
it's a
so-
forfeit.
It is a forfeit.
It has to be a forfeit. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
And they pay the referee fees only.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
So they paying $100?
100 each. Yep.
$100.
$100. I assume that the team that they were to play did not pay the referees.
Tarpon did.
Who did?
One of them, Tarpon, did. So I don't know which you have to find out. It was 24.56 or 24.52. But we'll reimburse Tarpon. We know they.
We'll reimburse Tarpon and collect from Nature
Be sure to
Coast.
send it to Greg something though, to remind him of that game number and to get the. To get the money back.
All right. Who do I send that to?
Which one?
$100 to Tarpon.
Yeah.
Right.
The other one, we don't know that they paid the ref or not.
Right.
Or they
I
showed
want to
up with
say
it.
they did. I feel like the other team knew it was going to be canceled.
All
I
right.
remember.
Yeah, we'll just find out. If they paid, we reimburse them and get the money.
Well, if they're not asking for reimbursement, we
Yeah,
you don't have to go find everybody. In the
Jerry,
team.
what age group is this?
It was U19, I think.
Had to be U19. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it could be 17s.
Sure.
No, I'm pretty sure it's U19.
Okay.
Okay. 5392.
Okay, that's probably me also. I'm pulling
Yes, it is. You got all the easy ones.
Shoot, I don't have an email on this. Let me see. Oh, wait, I know it's in it's in USA Game Reports.
No, it's not.
Yeah. No, I'm saying in my email. I have 2 emails that
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Oh, okay.
Oh, this is the Largo thing. I know what this is. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this one, I got an email from the Largo coach, and he said that he was told by the opposing team that they need to forfeit the game that was scheduled to be played same date, January 7th, bad weather. He wants to reschedule it because he said, well, we received a notice from our club that the fields were closed. However, the club never told us that the fields were closed. So therefore, the opposing team showed up, and now, obviously they feel it's a forfeit, and the Largo team says, well, we closed our fields. But I said, but you did, but you didn't tell USA. So therefore, the proper procedures weren't followed.
Did the referee show up?
Don't have a game card.
I'm assuming yes, because he didn't cancel anything.
Well, then it's a forfeit.
Right. But the Largo guy is complaining about that.
Well, it's got nothing to do with that thing. I mean, the procedure, we go back to the procedures. They're supposed to notify USA. If USA didn't notify the referees and the other team, then that's a regular game.
Right. Right. Oh, he does say in his email that the referees got the message because they did not show up to the field. But I don't know who they got the message from. It wasn't from me. He said it seems that Fusion and USA Soccer were the only ones that thought our fields were open. So I don't know how the referee was.
Yeah, this thing, I mean, rainouts this is a particular problem because, again, the fields may be underwater and nobody in Largo is Largo's fields are not their Pico or something, aren't they?
Largo closes their field when it's
Well, if you spit on their field, they close the field. So.
All right. Now it's like a golf course out there.
Yeah, that's happened before. I've seen it. I spit on it and they close the field.
Okay.
They were short on roster of players.
Gary, what's the bottom line on this one?
So, but wait a minute. Let me just ask a question. Then the fields were probably in poor condition, too poor to play, you think?
They had closed them. They had closed them, but they never told us.
And then they must have got hold of the referee as well.
They must have, because the referee never came. But the opposing team came from Englewood, and then, of course...
Oh, it's a forfeit.
It's a forfeit because they did not follow proper procedure.
Right, forfeit.
Forfeit. Unfortunately, it's not the team's fault. It is the club's fault.
Is there a fine or no?
No fine.
No fine.
Well, we need to come up with a fine for if they don't properly report.
Well, that's what we're doing. I mean, when you go through these things, it gets to the point where these have no, Steve. So that's why we got a board to make a decision.
Keep that as a mental note for bylaw change.
Okay. Well, what do you put in the bylaw?
Jerry, they did not use the field closure form on the site.
They did not.
Okay, so they didn't follow procedure. So
Correct.
there has to be some kind of, definitely a forfeit.
They forfeit the.
Well, I think that's a forfeit and a fine, but I think the club should.
And $100 fine for not following procedure. $100.
100? Yeah, I agree with that. I like that, Mike.
I agree.
$100 sounds good.
I agree.
Okay, so we're finding which team?
Largo.
Largo.
Okay.
TBU West.
Or whatever that is. Yeah.
Okay, just the club itself, the club?
The club. Now, I wouldn't punish the team with a fine. Unfortunately, they're going to be punished for the forfeit because of the improper procedure. Or do we want to just fine the club for? No, I think it needs to be a forfeit because that team came from far away.
You got the Sherry. You have the combatants, right? You know which two teams they were.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so you'll take care of the forfeit. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So Largo Club is fined for non-notification and 3-0 forfeit.
Hey, Sherry, has Largo closed their fields this year?
I gotta mute this.
All right, whover's got
Those
the
are the
pumps?
larger reps.
Can we mute the pumps? Okay. Hey, Mike, are you still there?
Which Mike?
This is your buddy who's in charge of notifying USA, you know.
I've got a gun against my head at this point. If I hear one dog or if a dog or medication call, I'm telling you.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
According to the investigation, your buddy is in charge of notifying USA. Kelvin.
Well, that's life. So that's it.
Yeah. Okay. $100 fine.
Yep.
Done. Okay. Moving right along. That's it. That's it on the games.
Right, we go to Paulie. What do you got? You got 11 minutes, Paul. 11 minutes to the
11 minutes. Let's go.
Let it run. Let it rip, Paul.
Come on, Mr. Trump.
They were my dogs. I was right. Unbelievable.
Sideline question. What are we talking?
All right, this was a parent that I have to find this one. She had a complaint or a suggestion about, was there a rule, but she couldn't find it, and I don't think I could find it, that you know how you're supposed to sit on one side of the field if you're the visiting team and then the other side, right? And so she was asking, was that a rule? And then if it wasn't a rule, she just wanted clarification about that.
There's no rule saying that.
No, and that's up to the referee to enforce too many people on the sidelines, correct?
Right.
She said there was a lot of situations that occurred throughout the season. At last week's home game, I gently said something to the parents on the other team that we were supposed to stay on the half of the field opposite of our team, but it instantly got heated, and they told me to speak with their coach. They were mad and swearing, and I honestly would have left the situation alone had I known it would end that way. Anyway, if this is an actual rule, would you mind sending something out to the younger age group coaches? They may not understand that kind of thing. And then she did find a rule in the state cup rules. So she was just asking if we
There's nothing in our bylaws.
No, life goes on.
There's nothing in our bylaws about where people got to stand. As long as the referee is happy with the coach's box and that, right? I mean, they can stand anywhere. He's supposed to clear them out of the end zone, but that's up to the ref, right?
Right.
One thing we have noticed though is that field marshals are far and few between for these games.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right. Well, let's keep moving. So we're all right with the sideline question. We don't have anything that addresses the sideline. We do have the center ref that should be controlling it.
And we are not building a wall between the two.
Oh, no. You can go there.
And the other team's going to pay for it.
Oh, you can go there.
I think we filed that for FYSA this year. You know.
Oh, please, let's not even talk about that.
Okay.
We'll just build a wall.
End of year awards.
You guys are terrible.
So we're back to the end of year awards. We're reimbursing, right? Am I correct in assuming that we're reimbursing the team?
The full amount? Are we talking the full amount?
Yes.
Sorry?
Unless it's up. What do you guys think? That's what we do the
same thing we did last few years. That's
just a lot of extra money. That's all because we didn't anticipate this going up.
You didn't anticipate what?
Well, we didn't in the budget. We didn't anticipate it being twice as much. You know, the FYSA is usually.
It's not twice.
No, it's not twice.
Well, then why don't you just do the same amount that we did last year? You don't have to do the whole thing.
Well, let's look at the numbers, Paulie. Well, look at the numbers and see what it says, right?
We didn't budget for it.
Well, we did.
Then we budgeted based on last year's numbers, no? So 13 through 19, 12 teams.
On awards, we budgeted 1,000. Doesn't matter. I mean, Jesus. What'll it cost? What's the out of pocket on it, Greg? What do you think?
Well, if it was 1,000, wasn't that much more this year? 1,200 this year? How much is State Cup?
What do we got? 9? We're not. Yeah, but not all. They're not going to be State Cup teams.
Not all of them win state. Others win presidents.
Well, there's
Hey, remember that State Cup is on the same weekend as all the seniors graduate this year.
There's 3 cups now.
Most teams aren't playing.
Yeah, but only the Premier teams, Paulie. Only the Premier. When we're talking
We
Premier
said
Division,
Premier Division first place team. That's it.
yes, it's only Premier Division first place team.
You got a problem with 12s and 14s where you have colors instead of Premier.
Well, they're not. It's only 13 and up.
Sorry?
It's only 13 and up.
Oh yes, no. That's
Okay, that's what we're talking, seniors only?
yeah.
Yeah.
We don't reimburse the junior league.
No, not at all.
Okay, all right.
So 13 and up, Premier Division winners will have their entrance fees paid to
We'll reimburse the entrance fee.
reimburse entrance fees
Yeah,
to
either to presidents or State Cup.
Yeah, they just got to tell us which one they went to and be.
or State Cup.
Right.
And I
What's
should
the
send
what's
that
the
out
State
and tell
Cup?
them,
What's the
right?
State Cup now?
$850, I think.
Does that include? Does that
The
include
President's
a,
Cup is like
650. 650.
$650 for President's Cup.
What about the 850? Is any of it returnable like it used to be? It used to be 1,000, but they'd send 500 back, right?
I think so now.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
And that's to pay for
It's really gone up.
that extra money pays for the decal they just put in on their boat.
Oh, those guys.
That's a bunch of, yeah.
Okay, so President's Cup is $650. What is the Commissioner's Cup?
$350.
$350.
They can't. They won't be allowed in the commissioners. They should not be allowed in the Commissioners Cup anyway. By their standards, they're not allowing premier teams in the Commissioners Cup.
And what's
They have them in there. There's D1 teams in Commissioner's Cup.
Yeah, but Paul, the State Cup weekend is the 21st and the 20th for the older kids, and that's the graduation date for all those kids as well. So none of those teams will be in it, but they might be in the Commissioner's Cup. But the President's
They're
Cup,
going to President's Cup, though, Mark. Not
yeah, President's Cup.
Yeah, but even President's Cup went up by $300.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
all right? And Mike, what's State Cup fee?
And Kai, it's a value at 650.
I don't know.
Kai, what's the State Cup fee?
Oh, I don't know at the moment. Hold on. Give me a second. Hold on.
$850.
You say 850.
$850.
$850.
50? No, that seems low.
That was last year's.
That's
Hold on.
$850. I say
$850 was last year's fee. I remember that. I thought I saw something like $1,000 or $1,200.
$850. Check it out, Kai.
I'm looking.
Before we build the wall.
It's $850.
Thank you. The
$850.
winner is Mark.
What do you mean, Mark? Coco.
Okay, got it.
So we got a potential of 12 teams at 850. That's the max we can be out.
Okay, $9,600, $9,700. Okay,
But that's 650 is not a big. I mean, it's going to be $12,000.
that's probably $4,000 more than trophies and medals, but no problem. Okay, got that.
So nothing for the age groups below 13 then,
No.
like last year, correct?
Correct. Correct.
This in case I will get questions, so I just want to make sure.
No, because there's no premier. I mean, the 12s, there's no premier anyway, so it's a big point.
But what we do need, though, Stacy and Greg, is that we need a photo of every team that won the Premier Division, so we can put it up on the website.
Yes. Yes.
It would be nice in those occasions that we are able to get somebody to go and have a check presentation kind of a deal to them. I mean, we need to make it a bigger deal than just what it is at the moment.
Well, see,
it needs to be on the website, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
It's got to be
we
advertised.
did something for the 12 grand.
What's that? Yeah, okay.
Well, some
Okay,
recognition.
5 minutes left.
moving right
No,
along.
it's for amendment. All right, next.
Those other items, I wasn't sure if you needed to keep them on
Well,
the
the
agenda.
referee situation is going to be Greg. Greg, you're working on that, right?
I thought Merritt was working that.
No. I had asked specifically if anybody could head it up. Nobody answered, so I said I would do that. It's going to be, you're going to do it. We'll get it. We'll get to the referees, and I'll help you.
I motion to table the remaining 4 points.
Okay. Well, anybody? We got a second on that?
Second.
There you go. There you go.
Gary,
How about the trial? Let's just go. Hey, the tryouts. though. What do we're back to that. That's
Gotta wait for FYZ to send something.
yeah, but by the time they send it, Guy, it'll be after the first.
I understand that, but I don't know what to tell you.
I got it. That's insane.
Yeah, I was told that tryouts will be the first week of April. And when we asked, how do you, because teams were still getting state cup.
Yeah, but
how are you going to handle that situation? There was no other than.
You can have tryouts April 1st, but you can't sign the player until June 9th or whatever it is.
Right.
It doesn't really, the April 1st date doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I think tryouts are going to be the same time as they've always been.
So those who have the tryouts on April 1st, whatever it is, probably will not get the players, right?
You can't sign them.
They can keep trying out. Yeah?
Yes, but you can't sign them.
Right.
So you got to try to swap it, but you can't sign them.
Yeah, you have to get a uniform deposit or
They can ask for it back.
yeah, but there's nothing that you can't sign them until June, and what many of us are facing is that you're going to have teams in state cup after tryouts with players that may have made the team or may not have made the team, and players that are coming. I mean, that's a cluster. It is such a cluster. I don't even know.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure those players that did make the team are going to show up for state cup.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the way to handle this is simple. It's the way that the businesses do it now. Don't tell them what team they've made or anything. Just yeah, I think you got a pretty good chance of playing next.
Come back next month.
You keep the three things with the ball moving, right? Where is it? It's right here. You know.
Yeah. And if you're playing for TBU, you'll come to find next month you're on the 8th team in that age group.
Well, it could be any of these the deep clubs.
Yeah. Hey, listen, we're all gonna do it this year.
Yeah. TBU ain't gonna be the only guy. Everyone's gonna do that.
Hey, how did the tryouts go for the Super Y?
We don't see.
I was going to ask you, Mark, how those tryouts go at?
Ours wasn't very good. We have maybe 4 teams.
For Super Y?
Yeah, we have our 2000, 99, 98 team, and then we have a couple girls teams and one other boys team. But what about the USA? Didn't that go down yet?
No,
not yet.
No, and I'll tell you, there isn't there's some backbench discussion about whether it's a good thing right now. Mainly because of if Super Y is as weak as it really could be, or is on its last legs, then for us to get these teams out and everything else and put in there, we could really end up looking bad. I would think so. We've got to I think we've got to have a discussion ourselves in the next 3 weeks whether we really want to do it.
Well, let me just real quick. Like, our 18 girls wanted to play in Super Y, so I contacted Super Y. They said, well, by February 24th, we would like to have your $1,200. Okay. Wait. Here is the kicker where I just don't like the whole thing. Where I don't think the USA League should maybe put the effort into it. It says we want your $1,200 by February 24th. In case your division does not form, you get a full refund. But who says to somebody, hey, come and play in our league, but it might not happen?
Wow.
Well, keep in mind also that the Super Y is now not under U.S. Club.
No, that's correct.
U.S. Club does not run Super Y anymore. It's USSSA.
They've got their own.
They don't run it. They're just affiliated for registration to.
Well, yeah. Well, but
the USL runs the Super Y League.
USL, not U.S. Club.
Yeah,
USL. US Club, they just use it as a portal for registration because USL does not have a youth registration process to U.S. soccer. So they got to go through a portal that does have that.
Right. And USL has always run.
I still think that a USA All-Star team would be a really good addition, though.
Oh, no, but what about if we go ahead, put all the resource, time, and effort to make an all-star team, and all of a sudden the league goes,
there's no division.
We don't have enough teams to have a season, and then you got to turn around to your members and all those kids and say, sorry, not going to happen. It's embarrassing.
Wow, that would be. You're right.
It appears right now, Mark, that that's more likely an event than we thought.
Wow.
Initially. That's what we hear. That's where you got to be careful. I mean, you're going to make sites. We're going to get coaches. We're going to get teams. We're going to get these kids going and everything else. And we're going to find out that there's either that or there's 4 other teams in the league. Like Alan just found out for the commissioner cup, or the region cup, there's only 2 teams in his division.
Well, let's just say for the USL, just take Braden River for an example.
Right.
You have the USL hints around. They don't even give you a full, really detailed report on. Let's just say they have 12 clubs involved in the USL, and all 12 clubs only have 4 teams, like Braden River.
Right.
Oh, that doesn't look good because you don't know what teams are in what divisions and how many even are there to pull off.
No, I agree.
Yeah, so if there's a division with 4 teams or 5 teams, they can't. They're not like USA where we can push people in. You know, we got 40 teams, but the division's not good. They don't have any backup.
Well, I'll tell you.
Let's just say you got 4 teams in your division. One's in Tallahassee, the other one's in Miami. You're in Braden River. I mean,
no, I agree. Yes. And we had a lot of players show up from FC Sarasota and a couple other clubs to show up to our tryouts. But you're right, though. If there's only 4 teams in a division, what's the big deal?
Well, it still's play, I guess. I mean, let's discuss that, right? If it's still 3 matches against 3 interesting clubs, right?
If USA could put an all-star team together and do very well, I think that would be really good for us.
Well, they could go play. You could put the team together and go play a select tournament or 2, and not have to carry out an entire league season along with your regular season that you're already playing with.
The question
and you get your games.
Sorry?
You get your games in tournament.
Right.
Yeah, right. And there's some pretty high-profile tournaments around that we can enter as an all-star team.
No, there's unless you're in the President's of Commissions Cup.
Commissions Cup. Oh.
No.
Well, we're going to have to move on that soon. I think these guys are getting impatient with us, and they want to know exactly. They want to be able to tell people we're in or we're out as USA. And I'm not sure I'm not positive our bylaws, we can even handle that. I'm not positive. Everyone says we can, but I'm not sure that that's the case. We're an FYSA affiliate. That's not an FYSA. It's, we can do it outside of USA potentially, as clubs getting together, but we can't present that as a USA team. That's the other issue.
But it would be really good for the future plans of making everybody the same the same. You know what I mean? What we talked about.
Yes, yes, I
It would
agree.
really work well for that. I was shocked that FC Sarasota showed up to our tryouts.
Well, don't they have a super wide team? Because they're listed as a super wide club.
No, they're coming to ours.
See, my point about you don't know if
Who's in it, right?
it's in it.
The other topic of discussion, though, Paul, if you recall, was talking with the Orlando League and the Jacksonville League, and possibly getting gameplay between the leagues.
I'll contact them this week. Well, we talked about it this summer. Merritt and I talked.
Like a, you can do a Champions League format.
Well, they said they, in certain age groups will try and get it. They were talking about playing at Four Corners now. What is that, over somewhere centrally located? Alan, is that up by you?
It's between it's like Claremont, Orlando.
Okay. So that's pretty good for us. I mean, that'd be decent.
That's like Champions Gate, that area.
Yes.
See, I mean,
I'll investigate. I got all their contact information.
let them, hey, Paul, also ask them if it wouldn't be possible to put a composite, all-star team together for each age group and have them play. That's possible.
Yeah, what we were talking about was a team was already together that we could play the best
All right.
winning team, but we can do any. I mean, we can.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Good stuff.
All right, what else we got? Policing error members, forget it. All right.
Yeah. The only other one,
906.
the only other one is a 12 and down. Should they choose to make the suggestion a mandate from U.S. Soccer?
Yeah, but nobody knows. Mike, did you ever get to anybody at U.S.? Has anybody got any contacts at U.S. Soccer? We're not sure. Kai, did you send that piece of information you got directly from U.S. Soccer to Greg or Sherry?
I can. Yeah, I'll from
Yeah,
Sam Snow. From Sam Snow. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to get that on the website because that's something that's a big document and there's a lot of stuff in there. And
I think you sent it to me, Kai.
in this document, we need to get it on the website or a link to it on the website. In this document, if you and I haven't eyeballed it, as much as I'd like to, but it appears as if in this document there was no real mandate to for this, no scores and no stuff. It's a suggestion and no mandate, and it makes you scratch your head as to what, as if U.S. Soccer has mandated this or they've allowed every state to decide if they want to do it or not. And if that's the case, if the second thing's the case, we need to go to FYSA and try and influence them through some method to say our league wishes to keep the format we have. I think. Is there anybody out there that feels like? I even think the 9s and 10s is probably not detrimental to keep score or a league. I don't see how that hurts anybody.
All I heard at the last AGM was it's coming. It's coming. So
But
I don't know
the
if
thing
there's
is,
any mandate.
what we can't figure out is all of a sudden it said it's coming because it's coming down from U.S. Soccer.
Right.
Now that's not 100% sure. It's not even 50% sure that what they didn't say to all the state organizations is on this. Here's a suggestion, and you decide if you want to make it a mandate or not. But it's not a mandate from U.S. Soccer, which means that we probably should have been given a choice, right, or a vote or something with FYSA, or the leagues say, "What do you guys want to do?" And say, "Well, we will keep the same format."
Unless the bylaws from FYSA don't need a vote. I don't know what they say about regarding.
No, they may not, Kai, but they still should.
Yeah, but it's
Should
Mike
you go to
Strickland,
the?
so
And if
Mike
anybody,
Strickland's
look,
gonna do
we've
what
got a
he
lot
wants.
of teams playing. We've got 80 or 90. We've got as many teams as anybody in the state probably. Why wouldn't they at least come to us as a board and say, "Hey, you guys, what do you think about this?"
Because they want to do
Okay,
what they
because
want to do.
you're just pointing out something I'm emailing FYSA about a stupid rule that they came up with for Commissioner's Cup. Okay, so Manuta's asking about why don't they ask us? Same thing about this rule, about the roster freeze. Okay, this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So the roster freeze for players, great. So it says in the rules that coaches
Yeah.
are
Coaches are
able to.
frozen.
You can change the coach after the roster freeze. Okay, as long as within 10 days of the event. Well, riddle me this. Roster freeze for Commissioner's Cup Region C was February 1st. And the Commissioner's Cup was February 11th. Can anybody help me out here? $3.5 million in revenue through the FYSA every year, and this is what they come up with. They're an inept organization.
Why do you
Who
have to
makes
freeze
this stuff
coaches
up?
anyway? Why do you have to freeze coaches anyway?
I don't.
Well, I really quick before we say goodnight, one quick story. U12 girls were in Homosassa. I was in St. Pete. Our U12 girls coach, his brother passed away
Right.
on Wednesday. Okay, we put another coach in place to travel to Homosassa to coach the U12 girls, and GOT Soccer did allow us to do that.
Right.
So we drive. Coach drives up. I get a call at 9 something, 30 minutes for a kickoff, where the coach tells me the people tell her that since she was added after the roster freeze, they will not let her coach, and then the team manager who's listed would have to coach. So I said, okay. So the commissioner then said, anyway, so they ended up allowing her to coach the first game, but I had to drive an hour and a half to coach the second game. So I end up driving there, and I meet this lady, nice lady, and another guy tells me that, well, the rule says this, and they called the commissioner, Dave DiTilio. He was not available. This is the best part of it. He was not available, so his wife told us that was the rule.
Oh, Jesus.
His wife, not even him, but the wife. But here is the kicker, and I took pictures and video just to satisfy, but I was already up there for an hour and a half. So I told our coach that we had on there, I said, listen, Delfino, go warm up the team and do me a favor, stay with me and stay on the sideline and see if until they remove you. She coached the entire second game with me. How does that happen? I just proved the point was that they're just inept. All right, so they tell her she can't coach. I drive an hour and a half, and then they allow her to coach.
They allow her to coach anyway.
And then the rules says that you are allowed to change the coaching staff, but within 10 days of the event, February 1st, February 11th. Who makes this stuff up? And why have a roster freeze? I understand for players. You have an 18-man
You
roster.
don't need to have a roster freeze for coaches.
You
That's
shouldn't,
ridiculous.
because you only allowed 3 coaches on the sideline. You're putting a freeze on a 3-man roster?
Yeah.
What if they all quit?
Well, that's why we list all 21 of our coaches on the roster.
Hey, guys, the document you have in front of you is a response from the Southeast Regional Director from U.S. Club. I sent him, Kai, I sent him your document regarding 12 and down, and this is his reply. And
you read that to me?
yeah, basically all he's saying is that their vice president of U.S. Club is the technical committee co-chair for U.S. Soccer, and they talked to him about it, and he says that's crazy. It's a suggestion, not a mandate for U12s, all that kind of stuff.
So you just sent this and got this response to us now?
No, I've had this. I've had this about a week or so. But what I'm getting at is when you take a look at their initiatives, okay, they tie into U.S. Soccer, but they're not mandating anything. They're just some issues they choose to take, some they don't.
Yeah. We'll find out at the AGM after we've settled everything.
No, we won't. Unless you plan on holding a gun to somebody's head.
Well, what I'm saying is we'll form our teams and then they'll tell us. Just like we always do.
Well, that's what we got to get in front of that a little bit, though. If that's, we got to try and figure out whether they're going to tell us that at the last minute again.
All right. Well, listen.
Yeah,
listen,
They will tell us.
Someone
They're
call
going to tell
Mike
us at the
Strickler and
last
see
minute.
if you get to talk to him on the phone. Call Mike Strickler, see if you can nail him down. And then if he
We'll nail him on the phone.
I think we've got to assume we're not going to get a straight answer.
Hey, Paul, would it be prudent to take this up at the Region C level that has their AGM before the big one?
Yeah, but they're not going to know anything.
It's the problem with all of that is that we're going to have to make a decision in the next 60 days on this, I think, because you can't possibly wait till that late and then tell you all your members, here's what we're going to do next year. We're not keeping score at all. You know, we can't. So, well, what are you talking about? Say, well, it's a mandate. We can't. We've got to either find out what we think is going to happen, or at least probability, and see exactly how we can, because we've got to have some. We can't wait till a month.
Well, then we have to go to USYSA or we have to go at a higher level and ask.
You can go AAU go AAU.
No. I mean, U.S. Club Soccer is fine, but we don't even want to do that until I get something back from a lawyer. And if anybody has one out there that's a good guy, I still have not had anybody come back to me with any good suggestions about who to utilize to take a look at our bylaws. And
Morgan.
You know, because until that point, I'm not sure the way our bylaws read if what we can and can't do.
Right.
And if we can't do something, all of us on the board, then we've got to, at our AGM, we've got to make some changes to our bylaws in order for us to respond to this. Because this year you cannot live with the fact that a kid isn't going to. I mean, a kid is not going to play soccer in this country and keep scoring until they're 12 years old or 13. It's totally absurd.
Well, it is absurd, but if everybody has to do it, everybody has to do it regardless. I mean, we're going to still keep
What I'm saying, Steve, it doesn't.
behind the scenes.
It's fine. It's fine as far as soccer goes, but it pushes kids into other sports when they say, you know,
that's a bigger issue. What I'm saying is, whether we know or not, it's not going to affect teams and their formations and all that. I mean, like last year's bylaws.
Why would a kid? Let me ask you something. Why would a kid go down, get a uniform, and be practicing twice a week, and all this stuff, all this organization schedule, and go and not keep score in any of the matches?
Because U.S. soccer.
Yeah, but I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
If they knew that ahead of time, why not just show up at a place, right, and just choose upside? Why go through the uniforms and the rosters and all this
To be
stuff?
honest with you, that's what some clubs might start doing.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, don't you think it starts to chip away at the whole structure that we're dealing with here?
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree on that aspect of it.
And so it's got to be in some way. You've got to protect the members of this organization.
Right.
Have got to have a choice, or at least we've got to come up with a choice and say, here's all we can do. Inside USA, outside, I don't know. You know, that's all a matter of question. You know, that's something I'd like to find out within the next 30 days. I'd like to have an answer from somebody telling me, hey, here's what you got to do in your bylaws if that's what you want to do.
Right. Well, we got to get an answer from a higher up. That's what we go.
Well, we need somebody. Yeah, somebody's familiar with the bylaws and the latest laws in Florida as far as doing that. Because if I'm a member, right, and I'm Allen's club, and they all of a sudden they say, hey, you can't do this. Our bylaws don't allow you to do it, and they may be right.
Yeah.
You know, we all need to know that before we throw the ball down the bowling alley and knock all the pins over. You know, we should know.
Strike, but we're not.
We should know within reason what our legal obligation is as a board.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I mean, I'm not a lawyer for sure, and I'm not sure reading.
Our legal obligation is going to be based on what they tell us we have to do. or don't have to do.
Especially because we're an FYSA affiliate. Now I look at FYSA's bylaws, and I don't see anything we would do if we said, well, no, we're not going to accept the mandate. All our teams are going to play under U.S. Soccer. Let's just say the members of this organization say, no, then we'll join U.S. Soccer for the 9s, 10s, 11s, and 12s.
Well, that could
And we
come
say,
down
well,
to
shit,
that, right?
we can't do that, fellas, but you could do that in some other organization if it were there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll have to do our research, and that'll
Yes,
be
yeah.
important.
Well, that's the start of it, but we got to know why we're doing it. This thing with the 11s and 12s is really it's a killer, I think, for community clubs for sure, because you're telling people, hey, you're not going to keep score till you're 13 years old. Now, if I'm some of the businesses out there, I'll have solutions for that, because I got enough teams they won't even know they're not playing in the league. They don't know now what's happening, right? Parents go in there, they got 6 teams, and they're all over the place. They don't know where they're at or if they're not at.
Right.
Places like Allen's place, and that's where we are. We got 1 or 2 teams. You got to tell them what's going on, or it's not fair to the kids to join up, pay money, and you know, they're paying $500 to come down, put uniforms on, have coaches get on the field, and you tell them, hey, well, we're not going to keep score. If you can't keep score, we certainly can't have leagues, because we don't know how anybody is.
But we still don't know. We still don't know if it's mandated. Number one, or suggested. Number one. Number two, we have discussed some gray areas behind it, where we're not keeping score, but officially, but there could be an unofficial.
But you'd have to have some league standard to do that. We got let's say we got 40 teams and under 11.
We'd still have to kind of keep some kind of track, you know, in order to continue to see teams in the future. So, you know, yeah. So we'll have to, Well, first of all, we got.
Well, that's a good idea. You know, we could go into that and say it's a seeding mechanism. It's just
a seeding mechanism. Yeah, exactly. I feel there's a lot more gray areas we can get away with this, as opposed to what we were able to last year with with all those rules.
Well, look, the other ones were mandates from U.S. Soccer. The age group thing and the concussion thing. There's no doubt.
Yeah, but you couldn't get around those. Those you couldn't get around. But this might be, if it's mandated, it might be a little bit. We just word it differently. We're not keeping score. We're
I'd
tracking.
rather have just a clean thing and say, look, we're going to do this, and FYSA fine. You know, we don't care.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll do that research.
Well, I'll start getting in touch with you guys next week after the middle of next week, and in more detail about that.
Okay.
But if somebody has an attorney, preferably in the Tampa Bay area, that is a business attorney, and especially up on 501c3 bylaws and the latest Florida law, that would help, because those guys would know what's going on now and what you can and can't do, and whatnot, and tell us specifically with your bylaws, here's what you could and couldn't do. That way, if somebody challenges it, and I think a member can challenge you, at least you've got some basis to make a decision and say, look, we've had an attorney look at this, here's his view on it. We feel we can do that.
Right.
I'd rather not start at that point and have a lawyer look into it. We can't wait till the last 2 months, the 2 months before this, before we're doing something about it.
Right.
And Mark, what's Brendan's specialty?
He is a probate and wills, so he can't help us right now, but maybe later on.
No, we need a guy that's a business lawyer, especially there's got to be someone that delves into 501c3s, or at least bylaws and the latest Florida law. There's got to be someone around that really does that kind of work.
Let me ask you this:
I know somebody up here.
Would USA be willing to pay for it? Because
no. We approved. If you look at the minutes from last meeting, you guys approved spending money.
Well, my wife works for the company that does the marketing and everything else for all the attorneys in the United States. So she knows every single one of these ones in Florida. So I could get a recommendation if that's what you guys really want.
Oh, that'll work.
That's what I want. That's what I'm
Business
asking.
attorney with 501cs.
Well, especially 501c3s, because they're more used to the eleemosynary corporations. And if a guy's in that field now, it's not a very wide field, but if he is, he's going to know when he sees the bylaws, he's going to say, man, with these bylaws connected to this affiliate thing, you really can't do that. Or you can do that.
I can get like 2 or 3 recommendations from her who are the best in the area.
Yes, yes. Yes, if you would, please, Mark.
I will.
We've gone out to about 4 or 5 people and really haven't gotten anything back positively from anybody.
Okay, I'll do that.
Thank you.
Hey, Mark, don't go anywhere when this is over with either, would you?
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, someone want to end this? I guess, Mike, we didn't make the 9 o'clock.
Let's end it. Let's end it.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Aye, done.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Thanks, fellas.
Aye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Lovely,
All right, gentlemen.
lovely seeing you all again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.